Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to another episode of Digital's in a Cruel World. You are here for the Christmas special, which might not be Christmas by the time this comes out, but I'm still feeling festive because it is pre-Christmas. And we are in the studio all together. It's our Christmas party day, which often means that nothing is organised until the last minute. And John will probably get far too drunk. Ryan will end up falling asleep on the train and getting home to the wrong station far past the kids' bedtime. And Lee, bless you, you're just going to keep us all together, herded together like cats and going in the right direction overall. So we're excited. If you haven't tuned into our episodes before, and this is the first one you're listening to, then there is no need to really listen to the back catalogue unless you really want to be informed on particular technologies, which we do cover a lot of. This year has been the year for AI technologies coming out all over the show. So we've tried to do our best and find all of the technologies that we really think are making a difference in the accounting space. This podcast is primarily for accountants that work in a practice, but it also works for accountants who don't work in a practice. And more latently, I think we also find that we're having a broader appeal with those who are in general trying to cover any part of the financial need of a business, which is really great if you're listening for the first time. If you are not, then this is going to be a slightly different episode from our usual. So there won't be app news specifically, but instead we're going to serve as a little bit of a reminder for how 2025 went down and to cover some of our favourite news stories, comment on them, make some conspiracy theories maybe about 2026, who knows, and see where we go with it. But thanks for tuning in, and I will throw over to my wonderful team of people here on the sofa all together. It's quite cozy on your sofa. I feel quite empowered on my...
You're definitely in charge today.
Yes, I am.
Right, and you're very festive outfit as well, unlike us. We have
Thank you, Ryan.
football. But another big shout out as well to Advanced Track for sponsoring today's episode. Thank you, and being pretty much a lifelong sponsor of the show. They do an amazing job and have been doing that. Not a tech company, but empowered massively by tech in what they do in the outsourcing realm, in outsourcing, offshoring, pod sourcing, in every way they serve the accounting community. But no, exciting to dive into our summary this year. So should I kick it off? Yeah. Well, I've got something that's probably a negative for this year.
Not like you, Ryan.
I'm always about the positive. I want to change it up a bit just for this episode. So this is a little bit of a probably understanding but frustration from QuickBooks Online and Xero. Towards the start of the year, they brought in like hardline restrictions and also a fair use policy for their platforms. Now, as someone that loves empowering larger businesses to utilize the benefits of Xero's ecosystem and QuickBooks Marketplace, this came as a frustration to me purely because I think you can do a lot with these systems. Like you can build out what's known as a modern ERP and bring in restrictions that say, okay, you're too big. You're too big for our platform. Move on, go away, shoot. Is essentially what they've done at the start of this year. Now, QuickBooks did this in a more scalable way, more enforceable, more scalable, because they've got a platform that can grow with you. They've got the smaller products, and then it grows up to QuickBooks Online Advanced, and then now Enterprise. So if you are overusing a smaller license, they'll just push you up to the next one. It doesn't mean you have to leave the platform. But Xero don't have that option. So if you are growing too big, they basically go, sorry, knocking on your door. You need to take a hike. This is not the platform for you. And we have heard some of that over the course of last year. It's not been, they've not gone hard on everyone. They've basically just gone, look, we give you some time, but you're not really the right size business. Please move on. So not the best news, but probably something that we expected to come in. And as I keep saying, Xero, bring out an enterprise option. People would love that. And I'm going to say it again. I don't know which camera. That camera. I'm going to say it again. Xero, bring out an enterprise option. And that's it.
Hang on. What's their slogan now? Xero's. Build first. Build right. Build right. Ask questions later.
I can't remember. Hold it. I had it.
Catchy. Whatever it is catchy.
Whatever it was.
It used to be so simple with beautiful business. Now it's build something and then
Whatever it is, they don't do
Build
it.
It is build
Yeah.
first, build right, isn't it? Or build once, build right.
Build once.
Oh, that's it.
Build once.
Yes.
Build right.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, it's definitely the slogan did not come from a marketer. Came from the product team.
I mean, they reflected on Xero payroll. They've reflected on Jax. They've reflected on all of the things that they've pretty much ever released and gone, yeah, that should be the slogan we should use.
From now on.
Yeah,
From now on.
Yeah, from now on,
We've
we're
learned.
wiping the slate clean, and we're actually gonna get it right for
You're
once.
saying that Zero gaslighted.
Oh,
Who knows?
Really
Anyway.
great news for the likes of Xledger and iplicit, though, isn't it?
It
They're
is.
sort of sitting there in
absolutely.
the wings, waiting to jump in and take some of that enterprise level business.
definitely.
Perfect for them.
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. Yeah,
absolutely.
big year going forward for them, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're doing good stuff with the integrations, right?
Yeah.
So works. Let's move on to something else then. And perhaps unsurprisingly, 2025 was the year of the MTD for income tax product release from pretty much everybody in the world. You know, we saw stuff from Xero, from Sage, from QuickBooks, from, oh, should I call them Intuit now, from FreeAgent, a whole bunch of stuff that came into the market. And then like constant kind of iteration and tweaks of these as they kind of like you form these products around the beta testing that they were doing and then try to like figure out how it was going to work with the multiple agents, the differences between income tax and property businesses, and then can you mangle those together or do they have to be kept separate? A whole bunch of stuff that was coming out. So we, aside from the AI updates that we seem to have all the time, we had a whole bunch of like MTD stuff almost every episode, and it's been fascinating to watch it. And it's still kind of happening. And I guess we've got a few more months of this as we roll up to April, where will probably be some last final tweaks to these products just to really polish them off and fine tune them in readiness for when we all go live with this next year.
Not long now. Have it in your calendars. A little countdown. We can't
That's
wait.
it. That's what we needed, like an advent calendar style release. If there's any app listening to this, possibly FreeAgent, because they brought out their lovely
We did have
advent
enough.
calendar
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
year.
that's
Um,
true.
you
They
need
could do
a-
another
Yeah,
advent
an MTD
calendar.
one. All
Yeah.
you need is 90 windows, right? Or whatever.
90 windows. That's one
It's
big
big,
ass-
it's huge calendar. Yeah.
Or very small windows.
Very small.
You have to get a pair of tweezers to open them.
Oh dear. Well, speaking of FreeAgent, actually, so one piece of news that we saw this year was and actually MTD as well, MTD return filed from space, which
Wild.
great marketing,
Very.
really caught everyone's attention when it came out. It was really good. Been very, very good this year on their marketing,
Have.
like award-winning marketing.
Possibly.
So.
But no, it was great. I mean, I'm a nerd, so I loved the fact that that they did something space related, and how they did it, I thought was pretty cool and documented it. Obviously, aligned it with Accountex.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's simple, right? Laptop.
It's simple.
No, it's in how they did it. Because that's the whole point of it, is that MTD is that simple. Finding MTD is that simple that you can do it from anywhere. We can do it from space. Little laptop, robot arm comes down, hits the file button. Simple as that.
I
Don't
would
you
like-
forget the balloon?
Yeah,
But
don't.
no,
believe-
you're complicating this.
But you know what?
Yeah.
Not very carbon friendly. Just gonna go on.
Where's
with-
balloon?
Balloon, yeah, that's true.
It wasn't a rocket. I mean, if they put a whole rocket up to
Yeah.
take the laptop up,
Yeah,
or
that would
they
have
just
been-
sent Chris Downing into space, that'd be really ironic,
That
wouldn't
would
it?
have been intense, wouldn't
Yeah.
it?
I mean, that's one way, I guess,
Why have you picked
distracting him.
Chris Downing?
Because I guess he's, to
Mr.
some extent,
MTD.
Mr. MTD.
Oh, I
and
see.
if they sent him into space, there's a lot less he could do on Earth because he's now up there.
He'd
So
dance.
yeah, it's a way of getting rid of a.
You could dance.
He would be dancing. Yeah.
Well, I could dance weightless
He'd
dancing.
probably do the moonwalk.
He'd probably do less miles when he was up there as well, wouldn't he?
Yeah, that's true.
Wow,
I
maybe
guess
not.
around
Maybe
the
do
country.
more if he's doing like revolutions of the earth. I mean,
You've seen his post on LinkedIn where he's showing his sat nav where he's going from cool
Oh, yeah, it's crazy.
he won't be able to do that in space because he'd be above the satellite.
That's true. You will be able to do the sat nav. Yeah, nerd.
Bringing us back down to earth, we had vinyl launch this year.
Yes.
Raise a little bit of money as well. Really, really interesting area. Like accountants have been told for God knows how long, 20, 30 years, you've got to do more advisory, you've got to do this, you've got to do this. And a lot of where the stuff around apps sort of goes awry is in those conversations with clients, spotting opportunities and things like that. So identifying that spot and adding a solution there, I think is really interesting and maybe could I know at the moment it's about capturing the notes and pushing those across into different products. I think they've got an integration to Socket now. But I think over time, when you've seen other apps that are starting to ingest tax guidance and things like that, you imagine a world that, well, maybe if Vinyl has something like that in it, and it can start giving out notes to the accountant after a call with the client and saying, well, the client raised these issues, here's the guidance you might want to look at. There's so many interesting directions they could take it on. So really strong launch for them, and obviously the guys behind the Journey brand that are building that as well. So yeah, really exciting launch. Have you spoke to many people using it in practice and what they've had out of it?
Yeah, I have, and they're quite positive on it. I think it started out as anything would, where it wasn't really as accurate or as good at feeding the right information to, I guess, as you'd need from the summary. But now it's really boiled down to what the accountant needs. Yeah. Being accountancy focused rather than, I guess, a generic AI note taker, focuses, I guess, on what are the key outputs that you need to, as you say, take those next steps with your client. And as this is only going to get bigger, because as we've talked about, I think even the last podcast, where you've got the erosion of compliance work expected from AI. We don't know the time frame, but we expect it to happen. That we need to fill that and create some more control around advisory. That's exactly what Vinyl are building into. And so I can only see this growing bigger. At the moment, they've got no or very few competitors, I believe. So yeah, huge opportunity. I expect to hear that more and more in 2026.
Yeah. I mean, I think the last thing as well, and that Vinyl did, was that they added the ability to record in-person meetings using the app that they launched not so long ago, maybe a couple of months ago. And I think that was probably like the missing piece for them, because obviously the virtual meetings are obviously there. Lots of technology that does that, but actually very little technology for recording in-person meetings. And to have that all in one place, really clever. And like you say, they don't really have any direct competition. Certainly in the accounting segment, there are probably one or two other apps that will do this and overlap a little bit, but they're not accounting specific and not have the integrations they've got.
Prime for acquisition. Let's just call it what it is, okay? It's going to be great for an accounting software at some point to acquire that technology. That's my 2026 speculation.
Wow,
we're getting ahead of ourselves really here.
Well, Jordan and Trent will be very happy with that news.
Congratulations, guys.
Let me move back to the thing that I almost jumped ahead of myself on, which is Digits. So Digits, been around for a little while, US product, primarily focused historically on a chat interface to kind of tap into Intuit and Xero to be able to ask questions about the GL data. But over the last few years, they've been building their own GL and kind of formally launched the product at the beginning of the year, which was kind of like what they call this sort of AI-powered general ledger, and it does that. I guess the core difference between them and the traditional, and what are now the traditional products in the market. Gosh, can you imagine saying that about Xero and Intuit and everyone else? Is that they're not building on sort of traditional like SQL-based databases anymore. They're building with a view of like, how does AI want to interact with databases? And it's a slightly different way that you construct those and build those, and slightly different technologies that underlie that. It's still probably not as mature a product as those core GLs in terms of like where it's at and some of the functionality that's potentially missing. So one thing that I know has been a recurring conversation that we've had is like, what is a bank reconciliation, or what is bank transaction processing? And interestingly enough, Digits are being challenged on that precise issue at the moment, and whether or not it compares, I guess, directly to Intuit, because that's the big product they're competing with over in the US. But yeah, I mean, this is just going to be more of what we expect. And there's a couple of other AI sort of powered products that are particularly, again, in the US that have come out this year as well to kind of challenge not just Digits, but also the ERP space as well. So we'll just start seeing more and more of this in 2026, I suspect.
Yeah. And you'd expect it to be the future, the AI-powered ledger, whether it's Digits or not, or something similar to Digits.
Yeah. And I wonder if that means that the other products are going to have to rebuild again. We talked in the previous episode about Xero having to rebuild their kind of like back-end technology. Well, is everyone, including Xero and Intuit and FreeAgent, Sage, etc., going to have to go through this whole process all over again?
Very possible. Or they'll just ignore it, and then just like cloud, and then last minute go, we should probably create a product about this, not naming any names. But going from, I guess, something that's brand new to an incumbent in the space now, which is Dext. And they've completely changed the way they do things, right? They've gone from being that stalwart of not making any changes, increasing prices, frustrating everyone, to in 2025 releasing an amazing amount of new functionality. I'm going to list some, but I don't think it's all of it. I just ran out of space. So they released or are kind of about to release payments. It's been in beta for a little while now, and that's supposed to come out around Christmas or early New Year. And that's powered by Airwallex. You've got supplier statement extraction, which takes it on parity with auto entry. You've got Vault, which is just a data collection area. So not only can you now do sales, you can do purchases, but you can put contracts in there in a structured way for any of your engagements. You can also, so it's also got VAT checks, and as your purchase invoices are captured, it can check if it's a valid VAT number in the system. And then AI line item extraction. So everything, I guess, traditionally around Dext was just extracting the top level information. Now they've got AI line item extraction. Prepayments, I'm starting to run out of breath now. Prepayments they're brought in as well, which I guess brings it on parity with Briefcase, which I think did this as well. And then WhatsApp integration. They also have a WhatsApp integration, so you can throw information in through WhatsApp directly. Don't stop me, John. Directly into Dext to extract your purchases through that as well. I'm gonna stop now. I'm pretty sure there's more, but that's all I've got on my list.
I love that. I just usually throw my WhatsApp stuff to John. Is he my Dex?
Yeah, well, you should use Dext, to be fair.
I think it's a D word, but I don't think it's Dext. That's what you
Same
normally call me. Easy.
Keep it PC.
Yeah, Dext have smashed it, haven't they, to be fair? I mean, I think my challenge to Stephen Edgington is that, given that VAT check functionality that you mentioned was a request that I made probably about 10 years ago, I'm going to see if I can lay out some functionality that I'd like to see maybe in the next 12 months, see if that's possible.
Or in the next 10 years as well.
Well, I mean, but I don't want to wait 10 years. I'll probably be retired.
To be fair to them, John, this may just be your influence, because I had a question I raised in October, which was the way contacts sync from Xero into Dext is only when they become a supplier or customer, which can impact the onboarding process for suppliers and customers if it's coming through a different route.
Yep.
And within a month, they'd already released it for suppliers, and they're looking to do it for customers. So it may just be the way you ask, John.
Right, okay, right. Stephen, fucking sort your life out. That's all I'm saying. Right?
Oh, it's harsh word.
I was going to congratulate Dext as well, same. And well done to Sabby and the team as well, because they had taken a lot of punches, I'd say, in the year before, especially with the price increases and whatnot. But credit where it's due. The product has evolved substantially. The other piece of news that we saw this year was what do we want to call this? An acquisition? It's a merger, isn't it? Merger of TaxCalc.
It's an acquisition.
Acquisition of Engager.
A merger is only, you got to remember, merger is like the marketing thing. It's like, we're telling everyone it's a merger so that they feel comfortable that actually not one person has taken over the other. But the reality on the ground is there's always an acquirer.
Believe that in this
He's been burnt.
I've been through 2 mergers and it's always that way.
Right, okay. That to say, that was a big story this year, and there was a lot of promises that were made that there wouldn't be a price hike, and then we saw the fallout take place in the public domain of, big price hike, a lot of disappointment.
An 80% price hike, I think it was.
In some cases, yeah. And it wasn't even the price hike that I think was the issue. It was the price promise that the Engager team had made.
A price for life, yeah.
Yeah, and then they couldn't stick to, which is quite damning to some extent.
Following a promise of never selling as well.
Yeah,
no.
That's awkward. There's always
Don't make promises.
There's always a number that someone's going to flip for.
Yeah. I mean, if anyone's listening, there's always a number that that people will flip for.
Yeah, that was interesting though. So who's really running the show now?
Well, I mean, Andy and Johan are still involved in Engager as an app, as a product, so that development still sits with them. But I guess now within that broader context of what TaxCalc are trying to do, because much like some of the other products in that sort of smaller accounting segment, I think I'm allowed to say that, they've got this challenge of moving their whole suite of products, which again is what TaxCalc is building out, a little bit like Bright and some others, into the cloud to have a fully cloud-enabled suite.
Just fine. Yeah, let's talk about into the cloud for a moment. For that space of the market, how many customers does TaxCalc have? What, 4, 5, 6, 7,000?
Oh, okay.
6, 7?
So we've got more than 5.
As my little girl says. 6, 7,000, I think it is.
Something like that, yeah. And I mean, you got to remember as well that TaxCalc were the main beneficiary of basically Iris screwing up the market, because a huge number of people were shifting either from TaxFiler or the core Iris product across to TaxCalc. as a consequence of either them kind of mothballing those products or trying to force people onto elements which no one was happy about.
Well, look, two names I'm going to throw out there at the same time as this piece of news is obviously good old KPM, 3,000 accounting firms and always in the cloud. And ones to watch, TaxPad.
Yeah, there was a TaxPad.
Yeah, from their old tax filer founders.
Yeah.
See how we're going to watch the space, because they have also made the promise
I have.
from the outset, whatever they build, they're not going to sell. It's really for the accountant. Let's see.
So it's nonsense.
Let us see.
So from the potential acquirees to someone that has been going through and acquiring lots of businesses over the last few years is Intuit. And during this year, they have moved to the Intuit platform, they've called it. And it's really interesting to see the divergence, I think, across the major general ledger providers around their attitude to AI and how they've embedded that on the product. So you've got FreeAgent, who haven't really done a lot and be very careful and considered about what they do and don't do. Xero have got Jax and only really recently started hitting some major features with that with BankRec. But Intuit seem to really push this very hard. And so the Intuit platform has got an accounting agent, customer agent, finance agent, project manager agent, and a VAT AI agent. So lots of stuff in there that is going to be very appealing for small businesses, but maybe contributing to accountants feeling they might be being edged out. And I know that's been a strategy for Intuit, that they've started going more aggressively in the direct channel and around their accounting channel a little bit more. So it'll be interesting to see how this pans out over the next couple of years.
Yeah, and it's something we've discussed frequently about what they did in the US or have been doing in the US. And it's been annoying a lot of accountants over there. And I think they've kind of avoided it purely because maybe the product wasn't ready in the UK. But I wouldn't be surprised if they start annoying their accounting community. They have over the last few years gone backwards and actually engaged more with the accounting community to when I guess they came over and just marketed directly to end customers. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for the AI agents in Intuit. I think that's a big shift, positive shift for them. So I really want to see it grow and kind of be a market leader and drag the others with them.
Exactly. They'll teach in a lot of moments. Well, I'm looking forward to month end with Matt and reconciliations with Rex and credit control with Karen.
Good old Rex.
I don't know what the agents are called.
I guess the key thing for QBO to deliver really well with this, with having multiple agents, is how those agents potentially coordinate, together. That would be really interesting to see, because I guess just having an agent that does a particular role and you maybe can interact with it as an individual, as business owner, is fine. But what happens if you ask like a multifaceted question, which should go to sort of say 3 out of those 5 agents, and how does that? I don't know how it accommodates that because I haven't tried it, but it'd be really interesting to see if there is a level of coordination there.
And this is something that Sage brought in not that long ago, back end of this year, is that coordination agent. Clive? I'm just going on your naming convention here.
I was going to go in Lionel, the line manager. So
there you go, Lionel, who is the person you ask that multifaceted question to. And it goes out to all the agents, gets relevant information, and brings it back through an LLM to neatly bring you a coordinated and self-contained answer.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, one other thing just quickly, because you did mention about the accounting market being a little bit upset by some of the stuff that Intuit had done. I was in the US recently, and actually some of the accounting firms that I spoke to sort of said, where Intuit have kind of gone in and done the tax stuff and offering tax services, low value tax, tax returns and stuff. They basically said, look, that's not a market we want to be in. They can take as much of that kind of like low value, high volume, crappy tax accounting work away from us, and we don't really want it. Which I thought was quite interesting, because I don't think that attitude would be the same here in the UK.
American capitalist society, they know how to do. They know they're like, this is low value work. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, moving on. A couple of little updates that we had also from QBO, Intuit, and FreeAgent as well, which they just brought in full CIS functionality and features, which brings them, I guess, up to parity with Xero in the market. So that's I mean, I don't need to go through the details, but it obviously allows them to do that full end-to-end CIS process now, whereas before it was a little bit fractured in those products, and you could do parts of it. So you might have been able to validate a contract, or you might have been able to do part of the CIS return and things, but you weren't able to do the full front-to-end process, particularly if you're a contractor sort of stuck in the middle where you had CIS from a sales point of view, but also at the purchase or sort of engagement side as well. So now you can do that. Now you can do that, which is great, and you can see that in those products. And so we're back at a level playing field.
Yeah, and I think that comes on the back end of MTD, right? They need to get their products ready to really help the sole trader side, and construction industry is rife for that. So it made a lot of sense. I'm going to take us away from the small business side. We've talked about the bigger players and some of the work going to those, such as iplicit, Xledger, and iplicit have integrated into Cin7 Core this year, which I thought was a big positive play, because it's, I guess, in that bigger space, you can't get a lot of the advanced functionality with integrations into e-commerce platforms, automation, integration into couriers. And that's where they've kind of built out their own mini ERPs themselves in like the unleashed Cin7 route. So two big players integrating in a very in-depth way actually now superpowers both, because it means that those that are on Cin7 Core and Xero but are outgrowing it, or QuickBooks Online outgrowing it, they can easily transition now into iplicit without having to change their core operational system. So I think it works very well for both parties, and I'm excited to see how that relationship develops through 2026.
And I'm going to take it back to something negative as well, but let's see if we can find
That's what I did.
positive
The
spin.
negative side of the room over here.
I know it's a bit negative. No, let's see if we can find a positive spin, which I think that we did cover in one of our last episodes. And I think the positive spin is around the opportunity that presents itself to a lot of smaller, different players that are pushing data into Xero in this particular case. But we're going to talk about API charges for QuickBooks and for Xero this year, which was very prevalent and very topical for most accountants who are working with businesses. They are using the technology as a facilitator, but in doing so, the technology has become more than a facilitator, perhaps pseudo gatekeeper to the data. So I think this is the first year that we've really seen the evolution of where AI could go and how it will evolve within businesses. And there's a question there around data security, around data policy, AI policy, the usage of that, and how that will come through the wash in the next year. I think that will continue to evolve. This is the first year that we have seen businesses really understand that they need to start having an AI policy for their own staff and for their clients as well. So it's no surprise that the bigger software players who are guardians, I guess, of the data as well, and we expect that of them if something goes wrong. So it's, for me, very logical that they would want to take a protective and defensive stance on that now, before too much time passes and they can't continue to control that. And that is the risk where it comes to things like GDPR and data security. There is a risk there for those businesses as well who don't protect it. So my positive spin on what was otherwise altogether a bit of a negative story this year for Xero and QuickBooks.
And I don't think that story's gonna go anywhere anytime soon. I think it's gonna roll on into 2026. I'm sure we'll be talking about it on the podcast for a while.
I wonder, and I don't think this question's been answered, and I haven't done the research to find out an answer, but because I think one of the big things that people were concerned about was like it tempering the sort of innovation in the ecosystem. And I do wonder if there is still an ability for maybe someone to kind of try out a potential use case without incurring significant costs, and then figure out if that's going to be viable. Because obviously, if you kind of get to that point where you can figure out it's viable, then of course you can move forward with a plan and execute that, and then work out if you can afford to invest in these new API charges.
To make sure we do end on a very positive note, we of course had the Digital Disruptor Awards, the second outing a couple of months ago, and I think we did another really nice job of highlighting some of the people that are moving the space forward. So we had Billy McLaughlin, who won the Digital Disruptor of the Year, Adfin with the Newcomer of the Year, FreeAgent took away 2 awards, of course, with the Release of the Year, and the CIS stuff that you mentioned earlier from them, John, was a big factor in that. The Marketing of the Year as well, we mentioned earlier on the space thing, Indy, that was a big factor for that as well. Yeah. Firm of the Year was Gravitate, and of course the Deity was Chris Downing as well. He seems to just be everywhere this year, hasn't he? He's like, shudder to think what his mileage has been. But yeah, really nice evening, and I think we're planning to do it again, aren't we, next year?
We're already booked in.
We are. We can't wait. Bigger and better.
Definitely.
More awards. Although some special awards, I think, that deserve some credit that we never really got to do. And so this episode is a congratulations to some additional winners. So for me, I'm going to give an award for the evening's funniest contributor with her jokes, with her special input into the debates. My award goes to LMH.
Yeah, Lisa. Yeah, but one that definitely took too much of a substance that night was Adam Giddens, who was very drunk.
He was.
Had enjoyed the event like massively, and I think because of that,
Perhaps too much.
yes, slightly too much. Very entertaining though.
He was the spirit of the evening.
He was.
So we're going to give him the spirit of the evening award.
That's a much better
Adam
name for it.
Giddens
than
today
that.
as
Is that a
accountancy.
shot glass?
It should be the spirit.
It's a
of the
really
evening.
big shot glass. Adam wouldn't fit in one. So
He was definitely.
Tallest accountant in the UK, or
Yeah.
whatever he called himself. But no, it'd be interesting to see who wins next year our awards. And on that note, I'm intrigued to think what your predictions are for 2026, because we'd like to do a little prediction. I don't think we get it right very often, but we've had kind of the year of the AI hype. We've had the year of MTD prep. What do we think 2026 is all about? Anyone want to go first?
I want to start.
Okay.
I just think that this person has really blossomed in the space in a way that everyone supports and genuinely, sincerely has had their own battles, let's call them challenges, different ways to navigate. And they've had to adapt, they've had to pivot, they've had to continue, and they've brought the best people around them continuously. They've done such a stellar job, and they in themselves are a unit. So I think for this particular person, that given the direction of the way that they were evolving their business as an accounting firm to acquire other accounting firms, and also building the technology to get the data into those practices quicker, and the investment that they took last year, I think that in 2026, we're going to see a very big event for Lucy Cohen.
Yeah.
And I think that is fair to say it's well deserved. So whether that is a complete evolution of what happens with the accounting firm side of things and how that's going to continue evolving in the acquisitions, or whether it's another raise or whatever that is, but 2026 is definitely the Cohen special.
Or as an impact as AAT president,
AAT.
the positive impact that can have.
There's so many things that you could say. There's so many things that she's worked on. And I just think that, we're all kind of supporting the rise of Lucy. So I think that next year is going to be another great year for her.
Well, that is hard to top. Has anyone got anything on a tech perspective, John or Ollie?
Yeah, I've got some thoughts. I think the sort of competitive landscape and the marketplace for the vendor community is going to get a little bit more interesting next year. I think those that feel like they've got a defensible moat and are almost like in the castles of the world that have got fortresses are going to draw up the drawbridges a little bit more and try and consolidate what they've got and use their dominance, I suppose, to try and drive greater ARPU out of the markets that they've got. Those that aren't necessarily within those forts, the challengers are going to get maybe a little bit more aggressive at flinging things around to try and break some of those walls down and get into those markets a little bit more and maybe a bit more adventurous. Or they'll try and get a little bit more traction through more mergers, acquisitions, more strategic partnerships. We don't really see that often between vendors. They might do a couple of webinars together, but it's rare that they'll go to market together. So I think we'll see some of that. And I think we'll also see a bit more emphasis on customer support, onboarding, and the sort of human side of getting people to actually use this tech as well. Because if you don't embed things as a habit, there's a risk that you'll just lose them to the next startup that comes along. So I think we'll see a little bit more attention on that side of things too.
Yeah, interesting. And probably worth mentioning that if Christopher Robin was Northern, that would be how he'd refer to his favourite teddy bear, wouldn't it?
RP.
Covered in, John. What have you got as a prediction?
You're stalling because you haven't got an idea.
So, I mean, I think, we've sort of seen the elements of this year, and it's nothing particularly new because there's been some enterprise products, but I think the focus on month-end close, coming into whether it's the core GLs, whether it's into the support systems in terms of products like Dext, which have been doing it for a while, obviously Mayday and a few others. But I think there seems to be, I don't know what it is, but it's not just a UK thing. I'm seeing it all around the world. There is a real focus in like month-end products, and and accountants seem to be really receptive to it. Mimo, I've got a product that we're about to launch, or I've kind of got it in beta testing at the moment, which will go fully into 2026. And this kind of focus on like, how do we kind of close the circle on month end, bookkeeping and accounting, such that, we can automate as much of the process as possible. I think we're going to see a big focus on that, and sort of see constant iteration and product releases and improvements in 2026. I think the other thing that probably we'll see a lot of, probably not as much in the UK, but we'll see a trickle down, and we've got some legislation for the future around this, is e-invoicing and the impact of that. That's going to have a big impact in EU from a VAT point of view, and some businesses in the UK are going to be caught as a consequence of it by that. But because we've now got this legislation that came in with the budget fairly recently, we're going to start to see people thinking about this, and it'd be really interesting to see how much that cuts through the noise, because obviously MTD goes live in April and things like that. But whenever this consultation comes out, which I think they're predicting around March, it'd be really, really interesting to sort of see if that sort of just goes under the radar for a little while because everyone's too busy thinking about April, or whether it'll sort of be a priority that people want to think about more.
Hedging your bets with two predictions, though, John.
Well, I could come up with a load more
Cheating,
rubbish.
I'd say.
I could have a load more too, Ryan, to be fair.
No, look, I'm going to
conscious that
stop
we
you
don't
all. Let me just finish with my one, and you lot can shut up.
His e-invoicing one was really good, though.
It is. It's easy, though. It's easy. So I'm going a little bit on a limb, and we've talked about this as something that's quite new and something that there's not really much competition around, and that is creating some structure around advisory. We've had it for compliance for a long time. We're talking about compliance eroding. So those AI note takers that lead into a structure around how you hold meetings, how you review those, how you provide education and feedback on that from a partner all the way down to more junior members. I think we'll start to see a lot more development in that space. Whether that's kind of the back end of 2026 or goes into 2027, I'm not sure. I don't think it's going to be a really focused at the start of 2026. There's too much going on with NTD, but that's where I'm putting my, out there prediction.
And I mean, I think that dovetails really interestingly into this broader conversation that we see about accounting skills right at the moment because of the impact of AI, in terms of, there are concerns that kind of like entry-level trainee accountant kind of role seems to be evaporating a little bit, particularly Big Four, probably less so in the smaller firms at the moment. But maybe that kind of, tool set, technology, whatever it is kind of the answer to that problem about like, how do we educate these new trainees into skilling up quicker so they can do this advisory type work and not learn on the tools, as it were, like we used to in the good old days.
That's what Hey Monica is there for. Joe Wood and Zoe.
Yeah.
They've delivered something into the market to solve this problem, and I think that's what we need to see more of. I'm wondering when they start grading it, not Hey Monica, I mean just the AI tools at some point, they will start to be able to give you a percentage on how well that meeting was run or versus how...
I don't think that's that far off.
Exactly. I mean, I really hope that it exists for podcasts soon enough as well, because then we can really start giving you guys
feedback.
Score. Yeah. Lee and I can
continual
give
like
feedback.
sentiment analysis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many do we do?
Yeah.
Interesting.
How interesting are you?
There are already products that do that. So there was something I used to look at when I was in sales management called Gong, which listens to sales calls, and then it absolutely does that. Gives you a score, like how much have you spoken versus the prospect of you asked these questions and ums and ahs and stuff. So that tech already exists, but it would be interesting to see that fold into things like
or adjust in real time as well.
Yeah.
To adjust you, course correct you.
Yeah, I mean that kind of that's like literally sort of like it's like having a coach in your ear almost, isn't it? When you're on the football field.
You do, don't you? With
like a camera
those
in your face.
glasses, having a camera in your face.
It's actually telling me what to say, right? What was that?
You
What was
got
that,
to ignore
Mark?
it somewhere.
Hold on. Mark, sorry, Mark speaking. Mr. Zuckerberg. All right, yeah.
It's like the little ratatouille, the little...
Yeah, that doesn't work on me.
That's much closer. Yeah. It's like a tiny little mite.
I've got mites, brilliant. What a way to wrap up 2025.
Exactly. And that brings us to a close for this year. So thank you to all of those who have been listening to our podcast throughout 2025. We hope that you'll continue to join us on the journey for 2026 as we also evolve our offering to the market. And we're hoping that you are able to take part in some more of our events. If you haven't already done so, Please do subscribe to the newsletter, join us in any of the communities that we're in, and we look forward to being able to bring you this podcast a whole other year. So, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.